I always talk about how there's truth in movies, comedy, TV shows, and even when it comes to cartoons such as The Simpsons and lies in the news. This is all about Freemasonry, this world of duality. Let's take a listen to this scene here from The Simpsons.
They're all covered with filthy germs, aren't they, Smithers?
Why, what do you mean, sir?
Freemasons run the country!
Not only this country, but the entire world. People need to understand. It's not a question if someone's a Mason. You know, in Hollywood, the music industry, all these people on the very top of this world, they're all Masons. Everybody underneath that are non-Masons, we just get the crumbs in this world. Taking a look at Sylvester Stallone, Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and John Carpenter of They Live, Halloween, and so many other movies. These are all Freemasons. Once again, so when you look at any directors, writers, or producers in Hollywood, you know they're Masons. It's not a question if. It's only Masons to make it to the top of this world. Now, all the connections when it comes to Matt Groening, and you see here, they're all doing the Eye of Illumination because they're all part of this exclusive club, you know, better known in the mainstream as the Illuminati, which is actually Freemasonry. Illuminati is just a cover for Freemasonry. That's what it's all about. Basically, Club 33, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Taking a look at all the connections, again, when it comes to Matt Groening, for anybody that doubts he's a Freemason, like everybody else in Hollywood, and again, everybody else that makes the top of this world. Take a look here. Again, when you take a look at The Simpsons, everybody's seen this. Very famous with Bart Simpson holding the money. You see the magazine held by Lisa. It's New York. You see the 9 and the 11, of course. As I mentioned many times, the towers came down after 33 years. Construction first started in 1968. The towers, of course, came down in 2001. This was nothing more than a Freemasonic ritual. Now, more connections made here with The Simpsons. You have the Simpson family, you know, parking right in front of a 33-cent store. Just take a look at the name Simpson. Again, these people, they work on the number systems. Not only numbers, colors, dates, signs, and symbols. This is what Masonry is all about. This is their own language of communication. It's not for the masses to understand or comprehend. For those that watch this video and say, you know, conspiracy theorists, this and that. You people don't understand. You have been completely manipulated and mind controlled by those that own and control TV. Again, they don't just devise these names out of thin air. Now, these people are occultists. If you don't understand the occult, you don't understand Freemasonry, this is all going to go over your head. And of course, you're never going to hear about this stuff on TV. These are the same people that own and control all of TV. Okay, but they'll give you truth, which seems ridiculous to most in these cartoons, TV shows, and again, comedy. This is the world of opposites, of duality, where nothing is as it appears. Another example with mockery when it comes to The Simpsons. Take a look at this episode. You see these two dancing, and right behind them, you see this tower on fire, of course, representing 9/11. This was dated back in 1997, around that time frame. Now, more connections made here. When you see this episode of The Simpsons, again, back to 1997, and they have the Ebola virus. Just taking a look here, as I've shown before, all 4 supposed American victims, 33 years old. Now, what are the chances of this? This was nothing more than a Freemasonic hoax. Just take a look at Bart Simpson here. Normally, he wears the red and blue. This is all about, again, Masonry. You get the Blue Lodge. You also have here the Queen of England and the nurse wearing the red and blue. And you see the Masonic symbols. You see the pentagram as well. So again, understand, there is a reason for everything. They don't devise these concepts out of thin air. Now, let's take a look at this one episode, for example, talking about concepts where they don't just pull things out of thin air. You see this one episode, orange is the new yellow, because orange is all about Freemasonry. The only color in numerology, that is 33. So again, if you don't understand Freemasonry, you see a tile like this, just go right over your head. Just like a comedian telling you a joke when you don't understand what he's saying. Okay, now let's take a look here. All about the occult. Again, annual meeting, International Brotherhood of Evil. And you have the lightning bolt and you have the skull. Of course, as I mentioned before, lightning is a representation of Satan, where it states in the Bible, Luke chapter 10, verses 18, where Jesus beheld Satan falling from heaven as lightning. Just like the founder of the Satanic Church, Anton LaVey, with the lightning bolt within the upside-down satanic pentagram. Again, they're all about signs and symbols with these Satanists, with these occultists. Let's take a look at this other episode here from The Simpsons with the pentagram as well. More examples. You have the right side pentagram. Now, again, hidden symbols in plain sight with the Masonic square and compass. More signs and symbols from The Simpsons, and you get the Masonic, again, square and compass, the all-seeing eye within the pyramid. Again, all about Masonry, right in plain sight. So people that want to deny that Matt Groening is part of this club of Freemasons, of course, if you don't know about the occult, it's going to brush off as you believe, oh, if this was true, the news would tell us so. Again, you have no concept and understanding of who those behind the scenes that control it all. They're all Masons working together. And as I showed this image earlier, with the reference to the skull, it's all about skull and bones. And let's look at this episode of The Simpsons. Again, a reference to skull and bones of Yale. Take a listen.
Mine is the proud bearing and glossy fur coat of a Yale man. Hello, little fella. Smithers, I believe this dog was in skull and bones.
Again, if you don't understand Freemasonry, about the occult, you'll not catch what he's saying. Basically, they're all about, again, sign symbols, also these Masonic handshakes. And this dog supposedly is doing some type of Masonic handshake, a reference to skull and bones. Again, an inside joke, only the occultists will understand it. As you see here, George Bush, and you see the skull and bone symbolism. Let's take a look here. I found pretty interesting, again, when it comes to Mr. Burns, as you see here. And I'll get into him, and you'll see here, again, the 33. The Simpsons on Fox. Now understand the occult in the Matrix and what's taking place here. You have Fox in Pythagorean numerology, how it's all lined up. You get, again, 666 when it comes to Fox. This is why you have 20th Century Fox. This is why you have Fox News. And, of course, the Fox channel itself. Fox Film. The list goes on and on. Now, there you go. It's all about Masonry. All about partaking in evil. And you see the blindfold. Taking a look at this Masonic ritual taking place. And you see the blindfold. Again, it's all about Masonry. Signs and symbols. Now, let's take a look here. This one episode. As you see these people raptured away to heaven. Let's see what's taking place here with the Simpson family. Rapture away to heaven. Lisa's being pulled up. One thing I find interesting, if I pause it at the right spot, let me back up just a tiny bit, and he does the devil horns right before descending down to hell. Trying to make hell sound like not such a bad thing. And again, the reference to falling through the firmament, the dome, as I shown before. I'll play it once again. With this scene here, again, just more mockery.
Steroid Santa Claus kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back. And the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the...
Again, just a mockery of the Bible where it mentions God's firmament. This is what it's about. Again, people watch this. Millions and millions of people worldwide will watch this and have no understanding, no concept what this is all about. And the same entire concept, like I mentioned earlier, truth in movies and lies in the news. Take a listen to what Mel Gibson says here, again, in this movie titled Conspiracy Theory.
Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, and as ex-director of the CIA.
George Bush was a 33rd degree Freemason. Again, this is how they do it. With all the videos I make about the hoaxes and psyops, and so many people come into my channel saying not everything's a hoax. They don't understand what's taking place. I'm going to break this down quickly and make all the connections necessary so people that are blind, even they can see the obvious. Going back in time, well before any of us in this world were around, just take a look at George Washington, at this bust in Washington, D.C. Here is another one here. A little bit of a closer look. States here, George Washington, Freemason, and first president in that order. Okay? You're not going to hear about this in elementary school, middle school, high school, college, university. And why not? You need to ask yourself, why not? Why don't they tell us that George Washington was a Freemason? Why don't they tell us about Freemasonry in the school system? Because these are the ones behind the scenes that control it all. Taking a look at these images, you have Harry Truman wearing the Masonic fez that says Arafat on it. Okay. See Harry Truman again, fellow Freemasons. He's wearing the Masonic apron. Okay, you see it right there? Now, taking a look at Richard Nixon. You see the Masonic handshake. All working together, these world leaders. All on the same page. Gerald Ford, the Masonic fez. Okay? Now take a look here at George Bush with Skull and Bones. Now the connection, the pecking order from the top to the bottom. Let's take a look here at the police department. Taking a look at this Masonic police pin. The name police itself and the G is both equal 33. People need to understand they don't devise these names out of thin air. It's always a reason for everything. Let's take a look here. See police, it's 33 in numerology. Who controls the police department? These were established by the Freemasons. It's owned and controlled by the Masons. It's very easy to see when you have eyes to see. You see the gloves, the Masonic gloves. You see the checkerboard, just like the Masonic Lodge. It's very easy once you put all the pieces together to see what's taking place. Now, if you think this is a coincidence, then you are absolutely not interested in the truth. You're just interested in preserving the lie system that you've been born into, and not interested in seeking truth. And this is why they're called the enlightened ones. They're the ones with all the knowledge. Everybody below is kept ignorant. Even those in the school system, they are simply paid to teach out of the textbooks. They cannot deviate. If they deviate, they're basically out of a job. So understand, generation after generation after generation have been brainwashed to the entire exact same system of lies and deception. And they don't even know it. Now, taking a look here when it comes to the media, just one last connection. Like I showed before with CNN. Look at this logo. Everything they do, there is a reason. As I showed here, turn this logo sideways and you get the 233s. And if you think that's just a coincidence, as I showed before, CNN is located on the 33rd parallel. So with this video, you can see the chain of command when it takes place with all the hoaxes, all the psyops. And again, most people are in denial. They don't want to believe this is true. But this is undeniable. Who's behind it all? Once people are down a path of lies, it's very hard to turn around, especially when you spend tens of thousands of dollars on your education and everything you've been told is nothing but a lie. The truth pill is a very hard one to swallow. Again, very few want to admit they've been lied to their entire lives. It's a sad truth. Again, ego and pride in what they believe is truth is preventing them from seeing what's taking place in the absolute truth.